Well, this is Rich. Failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. You remember her, the basket of deplorables, the irredeemables? Well, she now is saying, don't demonize each other. In the same breath where she attacks Republicans, saying that most of the finger pointing is coming from the right.
We have, and I include myself, we have got to stop demonizing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I think most of that right now in our country's history is coming, from the right, coming from people who want to dominate. They want their point of view. We have got to stop with the finger pointing and the scapegoating. We can have legitimate disagreements. Facts and evidence have to matter again. And then we can start having good debates.
Finger pointing comes from the right, except, oh, wait, I remember when she was the Democratic nominee for president, and she said this.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
So many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump. At some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members.
That was several years ago, but I want to play this clip, Kennedy. This was Hillary Clinton just yesterday talking about white males in a world that she would envision a little differently.
The idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, is just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for.
Kennedy, how does one in the same breath, that was this morning, say that we should stop finger pointing and then point your fingers at white men of a certain religion and certain persuasion?
It is shocking how she lost. I mean, this woman just has stunning political instincts. The way she is able to make these base and blanket statements targeted at people that she used to seek votes from. And she wonders why she no longer has influence in the party. I mean, I'm amazed when people still pull the string and she's like, with, this rhetoric that is so offensive. And contrary to her initial statement, her political career is based on attacking other people, not really putting forth ideas. Because if she had great ideas, she would have finished her second term as president. She didn't. And, Donald Trump, she thought, was the greatest gift the political gods had ever bestowed upon her because she just attacked him the entire time during the presidential campaign in 2016. And it didn't work for her. People saw right through it. So the people that she's attacking now, she wrote them a handwritten note to go vote for literally anybody else. And she's not doing herself any favors right now. She's just having this, insane contest with Kamala Harris, which former female leader of the Democrat Party can say the most offensive things to voters who patently dislike them.
Yeah, and Bill, it's like she totally just chose to ignore Biden's comment about garbage that we covered, Biden's comments about the MAGA Republicans being a threat to democracy in front of that red background. It's like she just totally has put that over here.
I watched a lot of that interview this morning before our program. They gave her a lot of time, and she had a lot to say. And one of the things she said is that the Republicans are doing a better job at social media and at podcasting and things of that nature. Maybe they are, but, you can do that, too. I mean, all sides can do that. Even the middle can do that. What I would argue is that this election was really decided on the issues. I mean, they tried to get rid of Trump 7 ways a Sunday and failed. And he came with an America first, heavy on immigration message, and that worked. And I'll tell you, if you watched his speech yesterday at the UN, there was a lot of that carryover. It was about immigration, how, his message to foreign leaders were, you make sure you get a handle on your situation at home. And when he was standing next to Keir Starmer last Friday, and the question was about immigration in England, and Starmer had an answer. It was a nice answer. It was probably a politician's answer. And Trump said, I don't like it. I think he's wrong. And it was just clear. It was cut. It was simple. It was right to the point. And I think maybe, I'm not here to give advice to Hillary Clinton, but maybe the issues are something that should have a greater focus in order to be successful.
Yeah, Molly, now after Hillary made those comments, there was the ICE attack. And, Senator Ted Cruz, I just want to remind people what he said when he came out after that, because I think the world he's envisioning is probably the best place to start. Listen to this.
We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. We should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe.
I can do nothing but agree with that sentiment, that it's time to listen to each other and talk to each other and not to use phrases like deplorables or to compare ICE to Nazis or Nazi organizations. It is definitely time to rein things in. I think to your point about this last election being about the issues, there's new polling out that's showing Republicans are doing very, very well on a swath of issues, that they're leading on immigration, that they're leading on crime. And here we have, to Kennedy's points, where has the Democratic highlights of the week been? They've been on, the former losing candidate of the party, Hillary Clinton, this morning, and earlier this week, Kamala Harris. And that's not forward-looking. And what they've been saying isn't forward-looking either. They're also looking back at what could have been done better, even talking about how Republicans dominated in these spaces like social media. Why? Because they were pushed off so many other platforms. They weren't allowed in the mainstream media. So they went where their voices could be heard and voters liked what they heard. So the points that she's making there, I honestly don't know how many people are watching or listening to those points. And the Democrats are going to have to turn that around and switch it in another direction, not to mention rein in the rhetoric.
Yeah, and Emily, that Reuters poll Molly mentioned shows that Republicans even have a leg up on how to handle political extremism.
Yeah, well, and the deltas to me are so astounding. I mean, leading by 22 points on crime, 13 on immigration and the economy, et cetera. It is in no way close. And back to Hillary Clinton, she mentioned something in one of those comments where she said, facts and evidence have to matter again. And that's the same kind of rhetoric rooted in disdain that we heard from, example, Rob Reiner earlier, where he said, well, for us to even have a conversation with Republicans or conservatives, first we have to agree on the facts. It's the same kind of people that put Science Matters signs in their lawn, right, but behind a gate that shuts out anyone that they actually don't want to. It's just rooted in this disdain of the majority of Americans, including those that they purport to represent. And might I remind Hillary Clinton, the former First Lady, that it was on her husband's back that she got to where she's going, because I didn't see her carving out a path for herself independently of him. So whatever white men she wants to demonize now, I mean, I guess start in your own household, especially because accountability back then looked a lot different than it does now for certain behaviors.
He'd probably love to deprogram him.
Yeah, and just a reminder, so she's going to need some of those white men. The Democrats are going to need them as they go into the midterm elections.
Exactly.
So, all right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.